because it's Wednesday Wellness Report. We're highlighting a TikTok video that is gaining an awful lot of traction right now. So in this video, chiropractic Dr. Scott Beyer says people who fall asleep but struggle to stay asleep at night, you might want to try eating before bed.
Oftentimes, this can be due to an imbalance between two adrenal hormones, one of them being cortisol and then the other being adrenaline. Now, cortisol's main job is to actually regulate blood sugar, but it's also responsive in individuals that are under stress. So classically, when we're asleep, that's the longest that we're going to go without eating, and all throughout the night, cortisol should start to become higher and higher and peaks first thing in the morning. The problem is that if individuals have been under stress, sometimes that cortisol rhythm becomes blunted and flat, and now people have to rely on this secondary compensatory mechanism. So in the middle of the night, normally when they should have cortisol released, they'll have adrenaline that gets released, and adrenaline is a huge central nervous system stimulant. So one of the things that you can actually do for a couple of weeks, and I know this is going to sound counterintuitive, is to actually eat very close to bed, particularly something that's heavy in protein and fat, and then also eat first thing in the morning. You can take a load off of the demand for blood sugar regulation, and over time, people can actually start sleeping soundly throughout the night.
So particularly protein and fat before you go to bed. So I can have the burger is what you're telling me.
Apparently.
Here's the thing. Sleep experts are also weighing in on this. Dr. Andrew Varga, who's a neuroscientist, told Today he wouldn't necessarily recommend this solution. However, he said it's an interesting idea, thinks it needs to be tested. He did say that eating close to bedtime might not allow food enough time to digest. It can actually keep you up at night, which I feel like that's what we've always been taught, wasn't it?
I've always been told that. In fact, one of the, when I made the conscious effort to begin eating healthier, when I wasn't a teenager anymore and I'm an adult, and you'd look at a bowl of ice cream and you'd gain weight. One of the things that I was always told by all nutritionists was just put a deadline on when you're going to eat your last meal. If it's 8 o'clock, it's 8 o'clock. It should be earlier than later. And this is completely counterintuitive to that, but it does, what he says makes sense, but also it's like you can read two studies. Hey, a glass of wine a day is good for you. Yeah. And then you'll read another study. Hey, a glass of wine a day can lead to heart disease or whatever. In this case, my fear is, yes, it would help with the sleeping, but would the problems that it create be worse than waking up every 2 hours? And the problems obviously would be obesity, heart disease, and all of that other stuff. So yeah, it probably does have some benefit to it, but does the benefit outweigh the negatives?
The protein and fat right before you lay down and go to sleep.
That just can't be good. In my view, I wouldn't be able to do it.
Well, you're very healthy, so I would trust your thoughts on this.
But it's just gut. I don't know. I'm certainly not a doctor, and I'm not going to play one on TV, but I want to see a study. Hopefully we'll see one soon.
Hopefully we will.